Well, after 20 years, the boat races make their return to Lake Decatur.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Ben Mackey, joined alongside Karen Eisler as we kick off our coverage of the boat races here in Lake Decatur. Everything coming together here. The races don't start until tomorrow, Karen, but look, everything here in Nelson Park has started to come together.
Oh, it's all starting to take shape. We're starting to see those boats. The vendors are starting to make their way out here, but this show tonight is really going to focus on all the fun that's happening on Saturday and Sunday. So here's some of those things that you can look forward to. Tonight, we're actually going to hear from some of the people who were a part of making this event happen. We're going to, head to see what these races, we're going to look back at what these races were all about. And we're going to sit down, show you where you can sit to watch them, where you can park, where if you're a boater, where you should go. We'll have all that information throughout this show. But more importantly, we're going to actually meet a hometown racer, Sean Bowser. He's going to show us his life in 2004 when he first raced, and then back out here as well as he's racing this weekend. So, just a jam-packed show that I'm looking forward to, and Ben, I know you're looking forward to as well.
Yeah, and we're going to talk to a lot of fun people, including Sean. Sean, really impressive guy, but the weather this weekend is really important as well. Jim is out on Lake Decatur today. He's tracking the weather for us. Jim.
I do declare it to be a trifle warm outside, just a tad, mind you. Even though the humidity's down, my goodness, if you're out in the sun at any stage of the game today, you're going to be breaking a sweat. And guess what? The temperature, the old thermometer, it goes along with that same idea. Check it out. 80 plus degrees across central Illinois. The only outlier, Bloomington in at 79, Watseka 78 degrees. That's still awfully close to where it should be for this time of the year. Feels like temperatures? Yes, indeedy. That is how we run. Now, that being said, as we go through time, do keep in mind we've had the wind. And especially along the water, some wind gusts over 30 miles an hour. It just doesn't provide much in terms of relief, that's for sure. Dew points are in the 40s. This is critical, because with wet weather developing not too far off to our northwest across northern Missouri, that's going to initially fizzle this evening. It's only going to lend in towards some cloud cover. The true H2O comes in after midnight tonight and for parts of tomorrow. But until that happens, we're A-OK, just a trifle warm outside before that humidity gets cranked up for about a 24-hour period. More on that live at Lake Decatur. Oh, where they're dropping off all the boats, baby! In just a little bit. Now back to Karen, who's in a comfy, cool, shady spot somewhere near the beach house.
Oh, for sure, Jim, in the shade, but man, you really couldn't picture a better day today.
Yeah, no, it is awesome outside right now. We hope that those storms can get out of here early on in the morning so that everything can go great tomorrow.
Absolutely. Ben, what's so exciting is that these races have a long history on Lake Decatur. Like we mentioned, there's been a 20-year hiatus as to when these races made their return to Lake Decatur. Just such a fun time there.
Yeah, and in years past, this event was called Summer Start. It was held the weekend of Memorial Day, but the weather would not always cooperate, so organizers, they pushed it back a weekend, hoping for a better forecast this year.
And now we have our Lindsay Beach standing by on the lake as well. She's giving us a glimpse of kind of what this weekend's going to shape out to be. Lindsay, how's it going?
Ben and Karen, this weekend is going to be filled with fun for everyone here on the lake shore. Not only will there be speeding boats on the water, there will be a little something for everyone. From vendors to the food, these next 2 days will be packed with family fun.
June 8th and 9th, when we hear a boat going 140, 160 miles an hour roaring across the lake, that's going to be the excitement and thrill. Along with that, we've got a jam-packed weekend with the Devon going on as well. So we've got concerts each night. Macon County Fair is also going to be going on in the evenings, so folks can go out and enjoy that as well. So it's going to be a fun weekend overall.
To top it off, the Decatur Park District is celebrating 100 years. Now, since it's been 20 years since these races have happened, organizers aren't sure how many people to expect, but they are looking for at least a few thousand making their way down here. Ben and Karen.
Thanks so much, Lindsay. It really took community involvement to put this together, and it seemed like everyone you met had their hands in this.
Yeah, there were so many people that were a part or a big part of bringing the boat races back here to Decatur for the first time in 20 years. And when you ask those in charge, they always made sure to mention the other groups, the other people that were involved. Not one person took credit for making this weekend happen. It really was a community effort.
Most of the great things that happen in this community happen because of the great people in it. Somebody has an idea and they get other people excited about it, energized, they put it together and make it happen. You know, our entities help out, and the Park District is doing great things with this, which is fantastic. And we're just excited to see it happen.
Planning for this event actually started a few years ago.
That's right, and it started with one guy, Sean Bowser, making a phone call to Terry Hamill with the Convention and Visitors Bureau, and we're actually going to speak to her next.
Yep, can't wait to talk to her, tell us how all of this came together. We're back here in a few minutes with the Hardee's Highway Race for the Lake.
We are back here live from the beach house for Hardee's Highway Race for the Lake as these boat races make their return.
Yep, looking forward to it.
That's right. And we're joined by Terry Hamill from the Decatur Area Convention and Visitors Bureau. Terry, what a weekend it is.
Oh my gosh, we are so excited. We're so ready. The water's ready, the racers are ready, the community's ready. We're excited to bring this back and welcome everybody back down to the water.
Tell me about the pride that the community has put into bringing the boat races back. So many people had to be involved in this to get the races back here this year.
Yes, I mean, you know, first of all, you can do nothing or put on any event of this magnitude without amazing partners. For instance, even our volunteers. Volunteers to me are like one of the best race ever. So we need to be sure that we tell them thank you all the time. Of course, the sponsors and the community. You know, the community is like so excited when they see all these different license plates from all these people from all over the states. And so, you know, Decatur is a very welcoming community. So when you bring an event like this and something they can get out and spend a wonderful time with, they're ready.
Terry, I want to make sure we mention some of those key sponsors that were a part of making this happen. Who can you mention here today?
You know, of course, Dan Hardee from the Warren Hardee Foundation. He is like the key sponsor, title sponsor. The Decatur Park District has put in, you know, their heart and soul to make this whole thing happen. The Convention and Visitors Bureau, the Trades and Labor Unions, and you know, there's just so many groups that's kind of hard to name, and you don't want to forget anybody.
Yeah, and there, what can you say? Nelson Park looks great already. We still got a little bit until the races start.
It does. And you know, Clay Gerhardt knows how to put that special touch on. You know, he knows how to make it, you know, look even better than what we even think it's going to look like. So kudos to him and his team. And the city of Decatur has been a big part of also helping to make it happen with their contributions and helping us, you know, keep our costs down. So I think this first year is going to be amazing, and all it's going to do is just get better every year.
Well, Terry, thank you so much for your hard work and to pass along to your team as well. We know how much dedication has gone into putting something like this. So congratulations and thank you.
Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. Well, hey, WAED's coverage of Hardee's Race for the Lake continues right after this. Okay, well, it's not just the races. There's going to be a lot more family fun happening this weekend.
Yeah, we're really looking forward to it. Next to the beach house here, whether you're moving down or around Nelson Park, there's a lot going on here. We got the VIP night going on right now. There's a lot of racers walking back and forth. So it should be a great weekend. Down here near the Devon Lakeshore Amphitheater or towards Lakeshore Drive, you'll find food, drinks, and local vendors. The Decatur Area Arts Council will have local artists lined up along the shore, and much like the Centennial Lake Fest last year, you'll find a little bit of everything.
People were excited about being a part of the first boat races in a long time. A number of the vendors who signed up for this weekend were at last year's Lake Fest. So they knew what kind of crowd that they probably were going to attract for this event this weekend, and it's all good. So we've got woodworking, we've got potters, we've got candle makers, people who work with glass, obviously painting and prints. We'll even have a couple artists who will be doing caricature drawings and face painting.
Johnson says that there are 30 vendors signed up.
That's right, and take a look at your screen right now. Here's a map at where you can find those vendors, crafts, artisans. They'll all be along the shore going towards the Devon, and you'll find all those food and drinks in Nelson Park, kind of near the boat ramp that is. But let's go ahead and take a live look now at Lake Decatur. Just such a beautiful day outside. Weather plays a key role in all of this, so we'll head out to Jim to get a check of that forecast.
WAND Weather's 7-day forecast, sponsored by Roto-Rooter.
Down here at the lake as well, you gotta love it. So just in case I do a little bit of a sidestep off the dock later, I got my flotation device ready to go. And I tell you what better way to cool off in the 70+ degree lake water temperatures, especially when it's 80+ outside. I would be remiss though, before we check out our quad view, if I didn't mention the gusty winds, some of which over 25-30 miles an hour today, creating a little bit of blowing dust in around the Bloomington area, portions of Interstate 74 between Bloomington and Champaign toward Danville. So a bit of a heads up, just in case you're going to be traveling. For most of us, it's not going to be a big deal, but visibility could be slightly reduced in that area. Meanwhile, our quad view does show, on occasion, the shaking camera due to the gusty winds. On top, you got two different looks of Lake Decatur. Bottom left, Bloomington. Bottom right, that just so happens to be Peoria. Oh, hey.
Oh, Jim, absolutely, we are. You know, we've got Angie Mason here. She's with the Beach House, and the Beach House, you kind of have the prime spot this weekend.
Yes, we kind of do. We're like kind of at the center, the hub of everything happening with the boat races and then the shows at the Devon. So we've got a little bit of everything around here this weekend.
Yeah, how special is this weekend gonna be for you guys?
It's a really great weekend. The things I'm excited about is we're really gonna kind of get to showcase what Decatur has to all the people from out of town, which is really awesome. Like, we had people this afternoon that were drove 14 hours from Pennsylvania. They were just ready to eat, so it was pretty cool just to be here and have a landing spot for them. And then, of course, all the stuff going on at the Devon too. So,
how are you kind of adjusting the menu to kind of fit the needs this weekend?
Well, we're doing something completely different. We're just doing, because typically we serve steak, seafood, oysters. But we're going to do something casual so people can get quick food. So we're doing sandwiches, appetizers, and lots of drinks, of course. So.
And you got VIP night going on right now. Some racers coming through already.
Yeah. So we have actually a lot of racers in the banquet room right now, and it's just like people are mingling, getting to know each other. I guess they're doing something with boats, like picking out boats. I guess everyone's picking out a favorite boat or something to root for. So that's kind of fun.
So fun. Well, Angie, thank you so much for taking the time. I know it's a busy night for you,
yeah,
but we really appreciate you taking this moment, and we just appreciate everything the Beach House has done this weekend to kind of make everything happen, come together.
Oh yeah, our pleasure. We're happy to be here.
All right, thanks, Angie. Well, the boat races return to Lake Decatur for the first time in 20 years, and this lake right here, it has a long history of boat races.
That's right. Coming up here on WAND News, coverage of Hardy's Race for the Lake. We're going to take a peek at a little bit of that history coming up. Welcome back to WAND's coverage of Hardy's Highway Race for the Lake. We're outside the Beach House here tonight.
Yeah, it's been an awesome night so far. Great weather. We've seen racers all around getting their last checks in on their boats. Let's take a live look out over the lake right now, and we can see that it's a great night. You can see the trailers and all of the boats in the lake right there. And Jim, he's been checking in on the weather forecast. We know there might be some rain chances overnight into tomorrow morning. Jim's got a look at that for us right now. Jim?
Yeah, you'll have to excuse me for a little bit. I got to adjust the trim right here. A lot of you non-mariner types may not know what that means, but yeah, we got a lot of stuff here. A stereo, horn, dock light, interior mood light. Ooh, I don't know what that's used for. Interior mood light. I could get used to this. and this weather. Unfortunately, that's going to be changing, and I'll have more on that coming up in a little bit from now, live at Lake Decatur.
Decatur.
Yeah, they really do. And, you know, for the last 20 years, we've seen people wanting... Stand by.
All right, so we know that these races have a long history on Lake Decatur.
Yeah, it's been 20 years since we last saw the races, but back in the 70s, 80s, 90s, we saw them throughout that time. WAND's Doug Wolf, he actually sat down with two people whose parents raced all the way back in the 50s.
We talked to two people whose parents actually raced here in the 1950s. Boat racing was a family affair. The boat races on Lake Decatur have come and gone over the decades, the last in the early 90s, before that, the 70s and 80s. And as we found out from people like Diana Manning and Todd Yakeley, the racing of hydroplanes dates well back into the early 50s.
We just sit on that hill. There was no trees. Me and my mom and my sister, and my older brother was probably down helping Dad in the pits or something.
When we were real little, like probably 4 or 5 years old, we spent most of our time in the pits where they were.
The boat races for this weekend feature sleek, modern boats with inboard motors. It was a lot different from what they used to have 70 years ago.
He raced a sea service hydroplane, and then there was another class I can't remember, but he raced a Neal 3-point hydroplane.
Don's dad operated a Johnson boat dealership in Decatur, while Diana's dad ran the local Evinrude dealership.
I mean, he loved it. I know he did. He raced here, Springfield, Jacksonville.
He raced F class, which was free for all, the biggest engine he could get. And he just liked speed.
That was their whole life. I mean, that was
every summer.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
There was a special appeal for racing on Lake Decatur.
Lake being shallow meant they didn't have a lot of wakes, so it was smoother riding.
Both of their dads raced from the early 50s until about 1957. Diana's father, Alan Locke, stopped because of his dealership.
Well, that's when he quit having a boat shop. We had a recession and an ice storm, and he was fed up, so he packed up all our stuff and we moved to Fort Lauderdale, and he worked for Chris Craft.
While Don's dad, George, stopped because of the physical toll.
Because they sit on their knees. They didn't sit in a chair. They sit on their knees, and it probably wore them out.
Don and Diane look back fondly on the races and are looking forward to their return.
I'll be happy to see them, even though I don't have anybody out there I know, but still, it's a lot of people think it's kind of silly, but it's a sport.
The noise. I love that sound.
So for the first time in 20 years, the boat races are back. Reporting at Lake Decatur, Doug Wolf, WAND News.
And back indeed they are. We're here with Clay Gearhart from the Decatur Park District. Oh man, how are you feeling?
Tell you what, it's been a lot of work to get to this point, and our staff have put in just tons and tons of hours, but we're very close. So we're excited to bring boat races back to Decatur tomorrow.
Yeah, this is a culmination of all that hard work over a long period of time. Why was it so important for the Park District to be involved in bringing the boat races back to Lake Decatur?
Yeah, it's our 100th anniversary this year, and when Sean Bowser and Terry Hamill came to me and said, hey, we want to bring back the boat races, to me that was a no-brainer. It's part of our 100th anniversary, so why would we not be supportive of this event and bring it into the Park District umbrella, where we've got our marketing team, our park staff team, our park police, everybody involved in helping to pull off an event like this.
Long hours, but kind of all worth it. What's been everybody's attitude? I mean, no matter where I go in town, everybody's talking about this weekend.
Yeah, everybody I talk to in the public says we're coming to the boat races, which makes me a little scared, because how many people are we going to have, so we can plan for soda and beer and toilets and everything else. But I think it's just going to be a phenomenal day on the water here Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah, and you mentioned the 100-year anniversary. Does the boat races being back for the first time in 20 years kind of put the cherry on top for you a little bit?
Yeah, it's a lot of nostalgia there, and folks are definitely excited. And you talk to the racers, and the fact that they made this race an Eastern Divisional race, which there's only 4 Eastern Divisional races east of the Mississippi every year, before they've even raced on the lake. That's how excited these boaters are to come back to Lake Decatur. So I think it speaks to Decatur's, their hospitality, their work ethic, that we are just a great place to host the boat races.
Well, Clay, we really appreciate the hard work that your team has put into this and the hard work the entire community has put in to make this happen. So thank you so much for taking time out of your busy day to meet with us today.
Yeah, huge thanks to the Park District staff, to Terry Hamill, City of Decatur, Fire Department, Police Department, everybody who's working hard to pull this event together.
Thank you so much.
Thanks,
well, hey, if you plan on coming down, well, you got to know where to sit. So let's take a look at this map right now. You can see that section along Lakeshore Drive. That's actually a great spot for you to take a view of these races. You'll also find, some seating along the lakefront near the beach house. There'll also be some bleachers set up for people to watch. But remember, you can't bring those coolers into Nelson Park or on Lakeshore Drive.
Yeah, now as for parking, take a look now at your screen. Remember, Lakeshore Drive from Lost Bridge Road down to Cantrell Street will be shut down. People can park on Lakeshore Drive for $5. There will not be parking in Nelson Park tomorrow on Saturday, but on Sunday you can park near the Devon for $5. And the police will be out in full force trying to direct traffic all throughout the weekend.
Yeah, this really took a big effort with, the police department, the fire department, the city of Decatur, and so they're actually going to have a lot more officers down here in Nelson Park as well. They're going to have auxiliary police helping out as well. So Lieutenant Eric Ethel, we actually met with him ahead of this time. He says that the department is actually excited for this weekend to happen.
Well, anytime you have large crowds, obviously you have a lot of traffic. We'll be helping with our traffic control. We'd like to remind people, to slow down, plan ahead, be careful for pedestrians.
Stand by.
And you'll actually see these mobile surveillance units as well. The department actually got these ahead of time, and they plan on using them here this weekend. And of course, we're going to have some boaters out as well, and so you've got to know where to go if you plan to be a boater on the lake.
Yeah, there are some specific rules for getting into Basin 2. That's where all the action is going to take place out on the lake. Now, you can anchor your boats around the races. Now, take a look at your screen to see where those locations are. But keep in mind, Nelson Park boat ramps and the fuel dock will be closed from today until Monday morning. If you need to travel through Basin 2, make sure you do that before 9 a.m. tomorrow and Sunday. There will be breaks in the racing throughout the days. Just look out for Lake Patrol and IDNR. Organizers say you need to plan accordingly, and if you want to see all of those rules, just head on over to WANDTV.com. Now, speaking of on the water, members of the Decatur Fire Department dive team will be on standby this weekend. There will be DFD divers teamed up with the race's dive team. Decatur Fire says it's been preparing for an event like this by adding a lot of team members to the team.
For the fire department dive team, we've been fortunate that we started preparations for this last year not knowing that we were going to have a race. Our idea was to be able to get our dive team prepared to have more members active and to be able to respond to the things we normally do. This is kind of a new thing for us. We haven't done it in over 20 years, and it's great for us to be able to have these boat races back. So our preparation started last year. We worked with the water department that provided us some funding to be able to send new people to become divers. And so now we're reaping that benefit, which is great to be able to have those divers ready to go for this.
Now get this, Captain Krause actually worked Lake Patrol back in college and worked the boat races, so this is a pretty special weekend for him. Well, you might have already heard his name a few times throughout the show. It's Sean Bowsher.
Oh yeah, I had a chance to meet with him ahead of time, and we're actually going to meet him again here tonight as well. He was kind of that driving force around these races, and he's just so excited to get back in the boat and let this thing happen.
Well, no matter who you talk to this weekend, they're going to be giving some kind of credit to Sean Bowsher.
Oh, that's right. That's because he's been one of the driving forces behind these races getting into town, and for good reason. Racing's been a part of his life ever since he was a little kid, and in 2004 he was able to race on Lake Decatur, and this year he's back again, ready to rumble.
People that aren't involved in the boat racing, they always say, God, I want that races to come back.
We first met him in 2004. The hometown racer, Sean Bowsher. And he's back again, ready to race on Lake Decatur 20 years later.
You're going to see me on the water with this. This is a 1-liter hydroplane.
You see, racing is in his blood, watching these boats with his dad since the early 90s.
We go to a lot of races, but Decatur was kind of in our backyard at the time, and we just enjoy the people, all the boat docks. You rekindle old friendships when you come back. So it's really fun that we got Decatur back, and we're bringing that back again.
And Sean is ready to return to Lake Decatur. But this race is different. You see, for Sean, it's about bringing the community together once again, just like we saw 20 years ago. For the past several years, he's been asking to bring these races back, and finally it's happening.
Being a police officer, and we go on details, I talk about the boat races because I know people wanted them back. And the people that aren't involved in the boat racing, they always say, God, I want that races to come back. I want those races to come back. So I knew Decatur wanted something to happen again with the races. And it was just getting those ducks lined up.
Feeling the excitement and the rush, just like he did in '04.
It's all about the show. We want to make sure, I want to see 10,000 people down there. Come on down, have a good time. Find the big green and white boat. I put kids in my boat all the time. And they can sit there and they love that. We get pictures taken with them. I don't mind at all. It's just a toy. I'm just a big guy that's got a very expensive toy.
And here he is, the man of the hour now, Sean Bowser. Thank you so much for joining us. I mean, how are you feeling?
Overwhelmed. It's happened. Started a year ago, April. Sorry, it's been a long day. And it's coming to fruition. It's going to happen. There's racers here. They're having a good time at the beach house. Dan Hardy's in there with the Hardy Foundation. It's happening, and I couldn't be more happy.
And when you work so long to get to this weekend, how does it feel to finally be here at the culmination of all your hard work?
Every time I see a friend that came here 20 years ago, I'm like, we're back. It's happening again. And my hands raw from shaking so many hands already this weekend. It's only Friday. It's incredible. The support, it's here. The sponsors, Clay with the Park District, Terry Hamill, Convention Visitors Bureau, Dan Hardy, Hardy Foundation, City of Decatur, Decatur Police, Decatur Fire. It's a community that's come together to make this happen.
And it speaks on the city of Decatur and the community that we're a part of.
100% it does. So it's going to be a fun weekend.
Yeah. and, you were telling us you still got stuff to do tonight in preparation.
Oh yeah, I've got like 15 buoys I got to put out still. So yeah, I've got so many hats that I've been throwing on this weekend. I think I have a race boat down here somewhere. I'm not sure where it's at right now, but I still have to get that ready. And if it wasn't for my help, my family, my girlfriend, none of that. My boat would be sitting in pieces in my garage right now. So.
Well, Sean, thank you so much for everything you've done to put these races together. It means so much to us. It means so much to our community to have you as that driving force. So thank you so much.
Thanks for having me, and we'll see you next year.
All right, we're looking forward to that. Well, hey, WAD's coverage of Hardy's Highway Race for the Lake continues.
Increasing cloud sign for your forecast. It's a mild one, but the boat race for Lake Decatur, there you go. There's your Saturday, Sunday action right there. Notice the wind out of the south tomorrow, out of the northwest on Sunday. Gusts either day into the 20s, a little bit stronger Saturday as opposed to Sunday. So that's why I call it windy to breezy, all part of your 7-day forecast. So more sun tomorrow, less wet weather equals high 70s. More clouds and wet weather as opposed to sun equals low 70s. I'm going right in the middle, right down the middle of the path for the time being at 75 for tomorrow, then 78 on Sunday, even though there could be clouds and a passing shower near Interstate 70 to kickstart the day. Look at that. Partly to mostly sunny for the rest of the weekend on into early next week. The humidity gets cranked up and it's going through the roof, especially Thursday and Friday when feels like temperatures are back into the 90s. And could we possibly, oh, I forgot, it's a floating deck, guys, possibly get a thunderstorm? If we do so, outside of tomorrow, it would be about a week away, which isn't half bad, although we do now need the rain for the fields. I tell you what, Mr. Ben, Miss Karen, it's been an absolute pleasure hanging with you at 4 o'clock. I think I'm going to stick around here for the 5 o'clock. You guys could scram on out of here. I got this.
Well, we're not done just yet,
No,
Jim.
we got more.
We've got way more still to head on WAND News's race for the lake here.
Yeah, and look, he's talking weather. We kind of just want a carbon copy of today on tomorrow, right?
Oh, I would love
It's
to
so
have.
beautiful
Oh,
out.
it's so nice outside, and I know that a lot of the boaters are thinking this is the perfect race weather as well.
Yeah, it's awesome. The lake, it's pretty calm. You can skip right through the water.
All right, and that's a look at our drone above right now, Lake Decatur. You know, just such a beautiful day, like we said. Our coverage continues next. Oh, check it out, Lake Decatur. She is ready for these races.
Look at that water. It's so beautiful. I just want to jump in.
I do as well want to jump in. I was waiting for Jim to take a splash there a while ago as well.
Yeah. I mean, why wouldn't he? He's right. He's the one that's out on the docks. Why didn't he get in?
That's Jim. Who knows? Who knows? Well, hey, you know, it's going to be a jam-packed weekend out here on Lake Decatur.
Yeah, let's take a look at some of those start times. Tomorrow, the races officially get underway. That's all starting at 10 a.m. Same time on Sunday. The races also start at 10 a.m. And also, don't forget, you can find all of this information on WANDTV.com. You can take a look at the top of your screen and find that community tab. Then click the Decatur boat races. You'll be able to find everything you need to know about parking and where you can watch the races. Again, that's at WANDTV.com.
Oh man, you know, it's just so cool to see how the community has really just come together in a moment like this.
Yeah, it's been so awesome to meet a lot of the organizers today and see what Nelson Park has been turned into, and also see some of the boats and the racers out and about as they get ready for tomorrow.
Yeah, a true testament to what Decatur has done, and it really just shows what the community pride is all about. But hey, we've still got more coverage of Hardy's Highway Race for the Lake coming up right after the break.